Welcome to another Stack Supplement Podcast interview. And today I have the person who I think I've featured on my podcast maybe 5, 6 times more than absolutely anybody else. Maybe twice as many as anyone else combined. But it is none other than Jim McMahon from PVL and Mutant and Powerhouse Blender Brands over there.
Shane, thanks for allowing me to come back. I always appreciate the invitation.
I think it's almost every New Year we've started with the gym. Whether it's like a New Year or it's just I'm like, you know what, I'll start doing more interviews. You're like the first person that comes to mind.
Well, I don't know why that's the case. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. We're going to find out together, though.
Okay, but we've brought you on for a very specific reason today, which isn't, there's always specific reasons, but this is a very, very specific. And I'll let you kind of go into more detail, but some major changes are about to happen at Mutant, dare I say, within the next 5 weeks, per se, right? A month? 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
I would say
the Arnold is?
Exactly. I think when people get to the Arnold Classic and they see what Mutant is up to, again, we've stepped up. This is the 4th year in a row that we're the title sponsor. So, we're very proud of being able to do that because, again, bodybuilding's in our blood. That's what we like to do. It's the reason why we do this. Like I said earlier, we're in this for the freaking long haul. I don't know what else to do. I'd hate to grow up one day and actually have to get a real job. I kind of like what I've been doing the last 30 years here. But
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, don't anybody make me grow up. I don't want to grow up. No, but Mutant is going to be proud to welcome everybody to the Arnold Classic. A lot of us probably wouldn't even be here had it not been for being inspired by people like Arnold and Tom Platz and Lou Ferrigno and Mike Mentzer and like whatever your jam is in bodybuilding that got you maybe into this game. That's my tangent in, and that's the tangent into the supplement and lifting game for thousands or tens of thousands of us, if not millions. And Mutant is, we believe, one of the most hardcore brands out there. We don't say hardcore because we're trying to pretend. Again, I think most people who lift the weight and get a 20-inch bicep, can squat 500 or 600 pounds. They know it takes two things: consistency and discipline. And those two things are hard to come by at times for most of us mortals. And so Mutant is the epitome of harnessing discipline and consistency. And the bodybuilding part of this, of course, is applying it to the lifting and the eating. The supplements, as per the word, as we all know, are supplements. They're not the go-to for your food. They're there to fill the gaps. So if you're going to fill the gap, the one thing that Mutants always stood for is we're not going to bullshit you. So we're going to hit you right between the eyes. We're going to slap your nuts, whatever you want to call it. We're going to wake you the fuck up, and we're going to deliver the goods. So we're here to save people time and money from the endless searching. I'm not a fan of 90% of the crap I see in the industry, or I'm not a fan of 99% of the crap I see on the internet. I've been doing this too long to keep my mouth shut about the crap. And I deal with athletes. I deal with athletes who use performance-enhancing drugs. I deal with athletes who don't use performance-enhancing drugs. And it doesn't matter. You still got to feed the body no matter what. You still got to recover as fast as you can, no matter what. And those are just the facts. So Mutant, during COVID, COVID was an interesting time for a lot of us. We won't go back to that. And we got a little delayed in getting on with something we wanted to do, and that was do what some others might call a brand refresh. We don't like the term. I'm not trying to be cute and clever about avoiding the term, because our attitude is quite the opposite. It's like, screw it, we're just going to freaking go do it. And through massive intention, we're taking our 500 plus labels and formulas back to the garage, and everything's getting a total makeover. And this isn't about trying to be pretty. And this is certainly not, about chasing a demographic that's down the frickin' middle of the road. I'm sorry, I might piss off some of my friends in the industry, maybe some of my enemies too. Don't give a shit. But we're not going to be chasing Mutant down the aisles of Walmart. Let's be blunt here, folks. We're born different. We're born hardcore, and that's the way we're frickin' going to stay. So we're going to honor that, never leave it, and that's it. And when people see the new look, the new attitude, or maybe it's not a new attitude, but certainly a new look, and I wouldn't even say it's evolved. It's just freaking right between the eyes, cool. And it says hardcore when you see it. And Shane, you've already seen a snippet of it. A few people have seen a snippet of it. Oh yeah, some of the guys on our sales team, they were just in Europe visiting some of our top distributors. I don't mind dropping names, but Tropicana in the UK, we've been with them for like 20 years, and Stephen over at Tropicana, holy crap! I'm like, yeah.
I think Europe it's going to appeal. It's going to appeal everywhere, but I think Europe is going to love the hell out of it. Especially some of those more intense sports nutrition areas like Germany and stuff. I feel like it's going to pop off pretty well.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, it's more than just a look. I'm having more fun now than I've probably had in the last 3 or 4 years, just because I love this Mutant thing that we came up with in 2005. Of course, started with Mutant Mass and morphed into quite a few other products since then. And being the manufacturer of all the powders ourselves, we got 200,000 square foot facility, got almost 200 staff. I mean, it's a lot to manage, and I'll be honest with everybody, it can wear you down at times. Having the responsibility to be all that for everybody and to have everything moving in the right direction in 100 countries. This is not easy, but this is exciting. I don't think any of us have been this excited for a long time. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how to describe it other than you have to see it. And when you see it, you'll get it. And if you don't get it, that's fine. That means Mutant's not for you, and that's fine too. But we like to say, screw normal. Come on over here. Let's be hardcore.
I think I've seen it. I've seen pictures of it. And to be honest, even if I described it, I don't think that it's like when you read a book and everyone imagines a different story, a situation, and a scenario. I could explain what it looks like to you, but I think that everyone is going to come up with some other like image to what is actually on it. But I feel like people would be in the similar realm. Like I feel like they would see it and be like, oh, like I would say it's not. It is pretty. I would say it's really radically different to what you've currently got in terms of like not necessarily in terms of direction. I still feel like the same audience has been approached. But I feel in this sense, you've gone for a much more direct, like look and feel.
Oh yeah,
Like I feel like it's gonna like. I think Mutant previously, if you were to say to someone, this supplement does this, this, and this, someone who might not have been into Mutant would still pick it up. Whereas now, I feel like it's got that feel to it where if they hear it's really good and then they see it, they'll be like, oh, I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I'm that intense.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to fanboy myself over the label, so I want to be careful here, but I got to be honest, the label is really freaking good. And it's designed to be specifically Mutant. It's born different, born hardcore. In fact, we are going to change our decade plus long brand tagline, which has been leave humanity behind. And we're still believing that. We're not changing it for just change's sake, but we really are leaning into the boldness of born different, born hardcore. So that is the new tagline. You'll see it if people go online and look up the Arnold Classic, and they'll see Mutant as the title sponsor for the Arnold Classic bodybuilding contest. Along with our friends at KSM 66, the Ashwagandha brand, they're the title sponsor for the Arnold Expo. I think you got something going on with the Arnold too, Shane, if I'm not mistaken, that I think we're part of.
Oh yeah, we got something. We've been keeping pretty quiet about it, but
Okay, I'll be quiet. All right, good to know. But aside from the slap you in the face look that this thing is going to do, and it will. I mean, it's designed to scare parents. Good, unless you're a really cool parent like me. But I still have a love affair. I'm a formula geek. I'm an ingredient geek. I got into all this, don't forget, by being injured in my teens and as a junior powerlifter trying to get ready for the world championships. And so I was busted up from the age of 14 to the age of 21, 22. And that's how I got into the supplement game. So I'm actually an ingredient hound and a formula nerd by trade. So the formulas are also hardcore, like our current EAA product And again, we don't shove EAAs and BCAAs down people's throat. We go, listen, they're supplements still, don't forget. So if you want an EAA, get the frickin' best. We think ours is among the very best. So we're taking the Mutant Gear, which is an aggressive name for an EAA supplement because it's spelled GEAAR. Get on the gear, as we like to say. But we're taking the gear and taking it back to the garage a little bit and, tweaking it up a little bit, putting some more horsepower in the engine. So it'll be a full-blown 10 gram of EAAs, including the 10th EAA LRG, which I know some people go, hey, Jim, that's not an EAA.
Oh,
well, hey, guys, is it?
Come on. Move though, isn't it? I think you've done that for a little bit.
Just a little bit. And we've upgraded the electrolyte blend in there too. From the PVL side, I got to just tangent over to the electrolyte because I don't want to touch it and then leave it too badly. But I got to say, I'm a little pissed off with too much of the crap I see in electrolytes out there. A lot of them are invented, and I'm going, what frickin' cockamamie bullshit science are you people looking at?
This was something you mentioned before, though. I think in a previous one you talked about some of the sources you weren't overly big fan of.
No, and I don't want to judge without knowing, but I will judge a book by its cover and go, listen, I'm looking at some products and I'm looking at their sodium potassium levels. I'm looking at their sodium potassium sources. I'm looking at what's in the product, what's not in the product. And I'm going, okay, some of them are really good. Some of them I understand, like the ones that are high sodium, I think are spot on. There's no question that if you're a performing athlete and you're sweating, well, what do you think's in your sweat, everybody? Your sweat comprises of between 0.5 gram and 2 grams of salt, 500 to 2,000 milligrams of salt. So you know what you need in your body? More salt. If you're sweating it out, you got to put it back in. But you don't need like these 700 milligram loads of potassium. I'm like, hold on here. There's a clinically correct ratio of sodium and potassium for high performance electrolyte blends. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm just telling you, we looked at like 50 or 60 commercial products out there, and there's only 2 that I thought were, spot on, and there are another 3 or 4 that were, really good. That means like 45 of these were just marketing products only. And I'm like, in my opinion, I just don't get it. I deal with athletes. I wouldn't recommend most of what I saw to an athlete. Sorry.
Well, on the topic of the EAA, I was curious because obviously with most brands, when they do, I won't say I'll say makeovers or refreshes or
you can use cute and clever terms when you're talking about other brands, Shane, not about mine.
Okay, so most of the time when brands do a rebrand, they take the opportunity to refresh the formulas as well. So they make a few changes on the formula side. It can be something as simple as adding this here for better absorption or ramping up some dosages here and there. And sometimes they don't even make the effort to do like the 2.0 tag. They'll just make the changes and sort of keep it going. And you were talking about the EAA. Is that going to be sort of across the board thing? Like, are there supplements that will have a few tweaks and changes as they undergo this transformation, or will some of them, are they all going to be kept the same type thing?
On a per product basis, I'm sorry, the pure caffeine tablets. I think we're just going to leave that one alone. It's 200 milligrams. No, but in all seriousness, when it comes to the more of the powder formulations, pre-workouts, BCAAs, proteins, things like that, obviously we're not going to mess around with mutant mass. I mean, we may tinker with it a little bit.
I feel like that's a given that's staying the same.
Yeah, and there is there's some root science in mutant mass that we don't talk about, and there's others in the industry who know about it because they used to work with us, and so they know it. And there's nothing we champion out there too much, but yeah, there's a core blend of proteins and carbs and fats within the mutant mass we're just never going to touch because it works, and the data shows it, and there is science behind our reasons for picking some of that. But when it comes to like the gear and the BCAAs, yeah, we're going to kick those up a little bit. In terms of the quantity of the hardcore aminos, we're going to take the BCAAs right up. Of course, we're featuring the full patented dose of the BioPerine, and talked with the good doctors over there that have that ingredient. They've done more blood work tests on that for their aminos. And I'm just a fan of something that's been tested and tested and tested and tested and tested, and it's got like 5 patents. And so I'll take that every day. And then we're upping the electrolyte blend. I think I was on your show one time before, and I was pissing and moaning about coconut water powder. I'm still pissing and moaning about
I
coconut
think that's
water
the one.
powder.
Yeah, that's the one I was getting at.
So yeah, and hey, kiddies, I've already told you. I'll admit when I made a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo, and I put a little bit of coconut water powder in the Mutant gear, and it's coming the frick out. Listen, coconut water powder itself, I can't say it's an absolute bullshit ingredient, but when you look at the raw material assay of what it is, and it's predominantly used for its potassium level, well, you're only getting about 30 to 60 milligrams of potassium, which is only like 1 or 2 or 3% of your daily value per 1,000 milligrams. And how much coconut water powder is, or some of the other brands actually putting in their product? 500 milligrams if it's on their label.
The 5. Yeah.
Maybe 1,000 milligrams. I know there's a good responsible brand in the state.
Occasionally you get 1,000.
Yeah, but nobody's putting in like 10 grams of coconut water powder. Yeah. And I want to emphasize powder. Coconut water powder is not the same thing as coconut water that you're getting in a drink. And so if you look at the potassium level of a coconut water RTD, oh yeah, the potassium level is pretty good actually, but not in coconut water powder. Go look at the raw material assays. They're usually between 30 and 60 milligrams of potassium per full gram. So unless you're using at least a gram, or more preferably 5 grams, something like that, coconut water powder as an added electrolyte is in there more for hype than it is for actual efficacy. And so we're yanking it out. Simple as that.
So EAA is probably the one that seems to be getting the most attention to it, I guess, in under this giant evolution of Mutant. That'll be, I guess, one of the ones that gets the most changes by the sounds of things.
Yeah, and we're also taking opportunities on some of our more traditional products, like our entry-level product. I don't mind telling everybody what Mutant Madness really is. It's your daily driver pre-workout, if you like the term daily driver. And if you don't like the term daily driver, we'll change the freaking channel. We don't make any apologies for what Mutant Madness is, just like C4 doesn't make any apologies for what C4 is. These are great products. They do what they do. And so, we have a little bit more caffeine stim in our Mutant Madness. And we don't make any apologies for it.
We don't. This is one of the earliest, if I'm not mistaken, to do that 0.5 gram at the max amount.
Yeah, so we
like that's been the case for a while.
Yeah, so we're not apologizing. This is exactly what this powder is. This is a bitch slap in the face of a whack of caffeine. It's going to get you jolted and going. Dusty's not going to use it because Dusty Hanshaw doesn't like that much caffeine. Okay, Dusty, no problem.
Nice.
But the fans of Madness, they're going to love the new flavor. There's a nice kick up on that, and we did tweak some other tweaks on that one too.
That was the other kind of thing I was getting into. Is it sort of with knowing the look of these things, I would feel like it's the perfect opportunity to do something like a Goliath grape or whatever it may be to fit some of the icons that you've got in these things. Like I feel like, is that sort of a play as well, or are we expecting sort of same flavors type thing?
Well, again,
plead the fifth on this one.
No. I'm not going to plead the fifth. I mean, I think I've been vocal enough that Mutant as a brand, we don't like to do the cute and clever thing if we can avoid it. And I've talked enough about flavor collaborations in the past, and I don't want to piss on other brands that do it. Some of the brands that were first to do it, congratulations, they did it, and they did it, and they deserve the accolades that they earned. I think I'm not the only one who says this, obviously, but I think a lot of the flavor collabs and things they're getting a little out of control. And so we're going to just hit people again right between the eyes. If we say it's blue raspberry, it's freaking blue raspberry. In fact, we should have filmed the taste test we did a couple of weeks ago. We're in the lab. It must have been about 10 of us in our in-house lab. And we had some people that don't really do, they're normal taste testers, which was good. We got, new opinions. And somebody asked us in the lab, well, what's it supposed to taste like? And I just looked at them and I said, does it taste blue or does it not taste blue? Like, what does blue taste like? But in our industry, of course, there's so much blue raspberry around So
I will
it was
say that though, I've done that explanation where I've had a blue raspberry, and my immediate thought is never, oh, this is too much raspberry, this is too much of this. I usually say it's like,
exactly.
damn, this is too much blue, and I don't know what I would describe blue as, other than the blueness of blue raspberry. Like it's just got this signature artificial kind of kick to it that I'm like, that's the blue and blue raspberry, right? That's what separates it from
Yeah.
regular raspberry.
Yeah,
Like it's
there's a blue raspberry field outside my window right now. Yeah,
yeah.
I see them growing out there all the time. No,
Okay, so
we're just gonna listen. You as a high performance swimmer back in the day, you know what's more important. Is the tutti fruity colorful flavor name on your label more important, or is what's in the
I'm not
jar more
a
important?
I am the worst example of flavor preference because time and time again I will buy something that tastes like ass to like get a good workout. The only protein powder that I have in my house right now, I got 40 grams of, actually I have IsoSurge. I have tubs of
Hmm?
IsoSurge. I think about 10, 15 pounds of isolate and then about 25 of whey. All of them are chocolate. That is how committed I am to not caring
Yeah.
about whatever the taste is, because I am that far gone that I know that in 8 months or 9 months or however long it takes me, I ain't gonna be wanting anything else, and I'll probably just buy
Yeah.
another bunch then.
Well, you don't. I don't know why you're buying any supplements. you, you
No,
should not be.
it's. I say this all the time. Like 70 to 80% of things I buy, like I use, is I buy just
Yeah.
because. Like if someone says to me, "Hey, do you want a free bottle?" I was like, "Dude, I want a year's supply. I like this shit that much. I'll use it all the time," and that tends to be the case. But I never expect anything in the protein side. I move about a bit, so the problem is like you got Mutant, you got a couple other big names that just are consistent from country to country, and
Yeah.
that like you can't be as good as the options would be. Like if you go to somewhere far off in Europe or Middle East or wherever, you walk into a shop and this might be the best tasting protein in the world, but I've never seen it before. I would rather go for something that I've relied on for years and years and years than the potential of something that might only be a pinch better. And generally, if it's the best tasting, it's in a 2 pound tub. And I'm way more interested in buying me those fives and tens. It's just,
Yeah.
but it's just,
Yeah.
I know that's me. And I know that obviously consumers out there will
Yeah.
go 2 pound and then go to a different 2 pound.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
again, I'm not a
Well,
flavor connoisseur.
we're just sticking to the super simple sexy stuff. It's like, hey, it's chocolate, so frickin' drink it. It's frickin' chocolate. Like I
I
don't need
feel
to
like
put four.
super simple and sexy aren't meant to go to this sentence.
Sure, they are. Trust me. Anyways, enough
So
of the tutti frutti flavor talk. We like good flavors. We don't make shit. We don't
yes,
make stuff that tastes like ass, but we don't need to dress it up with any more words on what it is.
but
It's
as we've
frickin'
discussed
chocolate.
before,
It's frickin'
you
blue.
you did what well, you did way gourmet, so you have the power and the ability to pump out some juicy flavors when needed,
Yes.
or you
Yeah. The
have
short
done.
answer, yes. Ask two-time Mr. Olympia in the 212 division, Sean Clarita, what's his favorite flavor of IsoSurge, and he will tell you. In fact, you DM
What
Sean
is it?
Clarita, any of you right now if you want, yeah, and just
Now I
ask
want
him.
to know what it is.
It's the mint chocolate chip
The mint.
IsoSurge. Yeah,
Ooh,
and we rock that. I mean
damn you.
that was a great. We just did another formula like for
Wow.
another one of our products is coming out, and we sent it to somebody who's been in the industry. I can't name who it is in the United States. Been with some really big brands, and he's like, "Holy crap, Jim! This is the best vanilla whey protein I've ever tried in my life." I said, "You're kidding me! Like I know where you've worked before. You had some pretty good products." He goes, "No, hands down, this is one of the best I've ever tried." And we got
I would say on the mint chocolate side, you're talking like outside of like the UK. There's only a handful of brands that will make the effort to go as deep as mint chocolate. That's not a common flavor
it's
by any stretch of the imagination.
it's actually become one of our core flavors. Like when we did Whey Gourmet, much like Muscle Milk, we drifted close to 20 some odd flavors at one point. I think Muscle Milk was over 30 flavors at one point way back when. And so originally when we had the Whey Gourmet, just crushing it and kicking ass, it was fun. We were just having a blast doing every flavor. We had root beer float for crying out loud. And I think we were one of the first companies ever to reach out to try to do a flavor collab over 20 years ago. I think it was Oreo was the first ones I called. And anyway, nobody wanted to do a flavor collab back then. I was like, whatever, who cares? Moving on. But
well, as we discovered, it was Iovate that apparently did the very first.
Yeah. Remember, and I think it was you, me, and Scott talking about that at the lunch.
Scott broke it out to me. He told me the story. I was like, and even we dug up the pre-internet images. We dug them up.
Yeah.
And we found them, but it was, and I think back then it was at a time where I just don't think you could have slapped some of these authentic flavors on the front and then convinced people. I think they would have just seen it and assumed it was too much of the unhealthy thing than the good thing.
Yeah.
And been put off.
Yeah, and the flavor collabs, again, I'm not saying they're all bad for all brands. I'm going, no, there's a couple core brands. They did it first. Good for them. Awesome. And it's part of their brand identity. It's how they want it to grow. And for us, we're just a little different. That's not how we want to grow. And I know some people might call bullshit on that, but we actually on our web shop, one of our top selling items is actually one of our shirts that we did a collab with one of our athletes, Dusty, and it says "fuck attention, earn respect," and that's kind of our attitude towards everything we're doing. So we're not going to go down the flavor collab route just to earn attention. It's just not who we are. We don't think that's what our fans really want to go do. Like the people we're reaching out to are like us. They understand the needs for consistency and discipline. And once in a while, you might buy an energy drink or whatever. And there's a lot of people out there like me who just look at all the energy drink, go, that's fine. I'm not going to shit on energy drinks for the sake of doing that. But I go, you're paying for shipping water, everybody. And you're not getting 30 serves in one container. You're putting 30 containers out there in the planet. And you think they're all getting recycled, do you? So there's a multitude of different reasons why I'm not a fan of energy drinks right now. But at the same time, I've never been a fan of energy drinks. And I go, it's not my cup of tea. And I don't think it's a lot of people's cup of tea. They're fun once in a while. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, I've never had a Red Bull or something. I go, yeah, they're fun. But I get a little concerned for humanity and mankind when we're starting to over proliferate the conversations towards energy drinks. And I'm also shaking my head at some of my industry friends. I go, you guys better be ready, because guys at Monster don't really like competition.
Yeah, they.
And I know what I speak of when I talk about Monster.
They proved when you dig up enough of their share out. I don't know, but we just saw what happened.
You better be committed to doing something. Like I'm under no delusions that doing a weight gainer called Mutant Mass is a world beater. I am not saying that, but we're committed to doing a gainer. Okay, that was as simple as that. If you get into the energy drink game, you got to understand what you are up against. Like, where are you gonna go? Like, what's your growth strategy? Because you ain't gonna get in 7-Eleven, probably. You ain't gonna get in Walmart. You're not gonna get in Costco, Sam's Club, Tesco. You're not getting in any of these places hardly. Why? Because there's about 10 or 12 just monsters, no pun intended, but just behemoths in front of you, and they're not letting anybody go play in that dojo. So they're going to block everybody out. And I'm going, so what are y'all competing for? And you're in a lot of the energy drink brands, they're going to have 1/10, 1/20th the revenue, which is fine for them if that's what they want to do. And if that's what I want to do, I would go do the same thing. But I just don't think a lot of them are kind of understanding what they may have already gotten themselves into. It's an inventory nightmare to do that.
Yeah. I talked to someone the other day, and he was saying that he's like, I don't know how true this is, and obviously this is very particular to this brand. And he was saying that they're crushing in energy drinks, but he said it doesn't even become worth it until beyond 70 million a year. He's like, it's just ridiculously, and much like you said, once you commit to it, like, can't really go back without losing any money type thing. So but you're right, there is a mammoth of them entering the space. I think a lot of them some of them are doing them for the big gain. I think, like you said, trying to get into these places, and that's where I think
Yep.
they do the things like the standout formulas and the collabs. It helps them give the edge over these legacy
Oh yeah,
competitors.
yeah. There's what, maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7 good supplement brands that got into the energy
They've
drink
broken
game.
through, yeah.
And yeah, I'm not talking about them. They deserve. They've gone through, but
It's the other ones. It's the other
it's the
ones that
other
are trying to
140
say.
that are. I'm not saying this to judge them. I'm actually like, oh my god, you guys, have you done your homework here? Because I mean, Mutant and PVL aren't small brands, and we're not diving in to the energy drink game because we look at this, we understand the math and shipping water all around the world and all that kind of stuff. We're like, you know what, guys, this might be a little dicey here. And so we're not judging others. We're just saying what we're doing. And we believe also that, hey, buying powders is a lot more cost efficient for all of us as consumers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's just a little bit better for the planet shipping out one container that has 30 servings instead of putting 30 single serves out there on the planet. Not rocket science.
Jumping back to,
yeah, let's get back to supplements. Sorry about that, Shane.
You're debuting the massive evolution of Mutant at the Arnold. Are we going to see? Obviously, we're going to see all the supplements as well. But are we going to see? Like, I know I've seen your space on the floor plan. I don't know what it's going to look like, but are we going to see like quite a very sort of, how do I explain this? Are you going to involve a lot of what is gone into this branding, like the look, and actually when you look at the tubs, those things that you see in there, is some of that bleeding into your display? Is some of that bleeding into the experience? Or is it going to be that the classic Mutant sort of display that we've come to know and enjoy so much?
It'll be both. I mean, there'll be elements of classic, and then there's elements of the new bold. Plain and simple.
I feel like people will want to see it. The conversation we're having will make way more sense when
they're good. Let me put it this way: they're going to see it even before they get into the expo hall. If you're going to the Arnold's and you're going to Columbus, even before you get inside the hall, when you get into the building,
I was gonna say, are we talking airport?
No, come
posters?
on.
No.
No.
Oh man, that would have been cool. I've seen those. I've seen them do that before.
Oh yeah. Driving a Lamborghini.
Don't act like that wasn't an obscure idea for you. That would seem very most likely.
No, very much. But at the same time, I know I sound like a 58-year-old dad or uncle or whatever, because I am. But again, we're in this for the long haul, and so we're aware we don't want to blow our whole wad. Like, I don't need to be driving a $400,000 Lamborghini like some of our competitors do. And again, I'm not judging if you drive a Lamborghini. I got friends who have Ferraris and Lamborghinis and BMWs. I go, not my cup of tea. I got my $80,000 pickup, and I'm just happy to keep rocking what we're doing in the biz here. And because to me, it's that important. Like, I've been doing it for 28 years. And like I already said at the beginning of this podcast, I was like, I don't want to grow up. I don't want to go get another job. So I don't want to siphon cash out of the company just to have toys. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. I'm having way more fun hanging with Ron and Dusty at the Olympia, going backstage, fist bumping, Sean Clarita and Andrea Shaw, both Olympia champions and others, of course, backstage as well. And we're having more fun now than what we've had in a long time. And so to keep that going, yeah, probably not wise to be putting $10,000 ads at the Welcome to Columbus International Airport.
You got my mind thinking when you said you'd see it before the show.
Just get your ass to the Hyatt, you'll see it.
Okay, so if you
for those of you who don't know, the Hyatt is connected to the
attached
the convention center.
You say.
Oh yeah.
So if the one last question I have with this obviously this giant transformation is it because as you mentioned, Mutant is in 100+ countries, huge representation in, I would say, all of the major markets around the world. Is this going to be I think obviously it is going to be staggered in no matter where you are in the world. Obviously something this massive isn't going to be, today it's this look, tomorrow it's the new look. Is it going to be a very staggered rollout for everywhere, or is it going to sort of be, we'll see it in North America, then also they roll out to Europe, then also they roll out, or is it just like, yeah, how is everyone around the world that knows Mutant, like going to have it introduced to them?
Well, thankfully, over the nearly 2 decades of international work we've done, we've cultured relationships where people know, okay, we're just gonna have to be patient. We have faith, and yeah, like I said, this is over 500 labels. So,
I completely understand. I've
yeah,
seen it. I've
so
seen how many this is.
yeah, I mean, in recent history, going back 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I mean, there's two other quite large brands that did a rebrand, refresh look, whatever you want to call it. And Dymatize was one of them, and Optimum Nutrition was the other. I'm sure there's others, but I'm talking like brands with a significant number of
Yeah.
SKUs. And so 500 labels is no small task. And I would assume it took them many, many months, if not nearly a year.
I can tell you, I remember the Optimum one when they did it. They said 2 years,
Yeah.
and this is what they said. When they announced it, they said this will take the first year. I think they was focused on gold standard, and then I think like a year, half a year later, we saw casein. So it was extremely staggered.
Yeah. And again, we're prepared to just do what we have to do. It's as simple as that. Like almost every day, we're having phone calls, Zoom calls about this because this is a nightmare. This is not a simple thing, but
Yeah.
we're having fun doing it because we're just so excited for people to see this new look, and we've already presented the new look to some of our business partners. And again, like I said, Craig and Brent, they were just in Europe, and they showed it to Steve and others, and they're like, oh. Like, okay, your buddy in Poland, he's going to call you probably. I don't know if he's seen it yet, but his boss did.
Oh, really? I
Oh
would
yeah.
like to think that if Lars saw it, no, I feel like Lucas would have told me. I think he would have, because I didn't tell him I've seen it.
I
I
don't
feel
even
like
think
he would
Lars
have
is allowed to
told
say he
me.
saw it. Anyways,
Maybe.
this is why we're
Well,
excited
either
because
way, when this gets out there, Lucas is going to go ahead and ask him. You know that, right?
yeah. And so the look is awesome. There's a brand new product coming out as well in a category that a lot of brands say they're doing. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Doesn't look like it to us, but we'll be one of the few brands. I know a couple have already announced it, but we're coming out with the Infinity ingredient as
Oh, yes.
another ingredient in an ensemble product. And we watched, I'm a fan of what Muscle Tech did with their product with the Infinity, and Sean Wells and I and Dr. Ralph Yager. I've known Ralph for over 20 years, so I understand the ingredient pretty well, and we've experimented with it with other ingredients, and I think we came up with something that was working really well. And then at the 10th hour, I changed the formula even further. Pissed off everybody in the building. I think Brent, our VP of sales, who used to be with Muscle Farm and EAS and Twin Lab. I mean, Brent was like, "You're doing what?" I said, "I can make it better." He goes, "Jesus, Murphy, Jim, like, are you insane?" And so others in the company are like, "You can't do that." I go, "I'm doing it." And when you see that, I mean, when I get to tell the full story about what the changes were, it'll become obvious. Oh, of course you changed it. If that's what the 10th hour formula is going to be, we're glad you changed it, Jim, to the 11th hour. So yeah, this one's going to freak people out. Did I say freak? Did I say fuck? Like, I don't know what did I say freak or fuck? You guys get to choose when you see the product. It's a mind bender.
Interesting.
Ian Bell's going to watch this, and he's going to go, "Oh, Jim, I see what you did there. That was pretty clever."
Can I ask any questions that you're
You can
going to
ask whatever
answer
you
about
want.
this?
You can ask anything you want. Yes, I don't know Mike Tyson. Thanks for asking. Next question.
So you said it's for a category everyone else is doing.
Saying they're doing.
Is it not pre-workout?
Yeah, it's pre-workout. It's pre-study
It is a
hour.
pre-workout.
Yeah. It's a pre-workout, but
So it's a
it's not.
pre-workout.
But it's got no caffeine in it. It's got no yohimbe. It's got no banned substances.
But it's got infinity in it.
Yeah, but it's got other things too. And it's going to fuck you
That's
up in a good way.
pre-workout.
Yeah. It's either going to fuck you up or freak you out. You guys get to choose.
Both of those things can happen in one situation.
And it's a mind bender.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking a nootropic pre-workout is what I'm thinking. Only because that would be an angle to play, because you've already got the beast that is madness. I feel like the nootropic play. I'll leave it there. I like being surprised, and I like a lot of. I mean, there are a few companies using Infinity now, but they haven't got too many people using it in a different manner yet. Which generally, the more you get, the wider variety you get. So I think it'd be good to see what Jim at Mutant has cooked up.
Well, I think Infinity and other ingredients that are known as nootropics, you have to be mindful of what they are and not overpromise and underdeliver either. Meaning, to put Infinity and nootropics in a product that's meant to act like it's got 600 milligrams of caffeine and 5 milligrams of yohimbine. Well, that's not the right category. You're never going to get that effect. But this is for, the attitude is quite simple. Like if you want to be cracked out, fine. But, taking the crack type pre-workouts actually doesn't build strength. It doesn't allow you to do the more reps. Like Tom Platz, if you're a disciple of Tom Platz, he's always saying every set's got the potential for 5 more reps. And if you're just wired on crack like pre-workout, you don't have the sensory ability to control your mind, to control the muscle. You just don't. You're cracked. You're whacked out, man. So that's great if you're doing bicep curls like this and you just want to go to speed demon. But when you're doing like 500-pound squats, 1,400-pound leg presses, this is mind over matter time. And you better have a nootropic that's dialed in and allows you to actually focus. If you got the jitters, you can't win the race. If you got the jitters, you can't get the extra reps. You really can't get that, that crucial 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th extra rep. And that's what's really critical. So this is a fun product for those who think they know everything there is to know about pre-workouts. And I'm like, try this one. Take it for a legit spin. And you'll be amazed. Everybody who's tried it so far, again, they're like, hey, where's the caffeine? Where's the caffeine? Come on, dumbasses. Have you not been paying attention? Paraxanthin is caffeine evolved. It's not caffeine itself. So it's a different experience. And it's pretty trippy, I got to be honest with you. And it is freaking a cool ride. And you will get the ability to get those extra reps that you just can't get when you're cracked out on isoheptane and yohimbine and all these other things. I mean, they're fun. I'm on a nice ride, and I could do more. I could do more speed reps on lightweight movements.
Yeah, not worthwhile reps.
No, like if you're going to go hardcore, we're talking leg day, back day, chest day, even shoulders. You better have that mind dialed in.
I don't think you can get even at the highest and I personally have trouble. I can get extra reps on shit that's like a shoulder fly or something smaller. Yeah. But if it comes to like a squat or a deadlift or a bent row, I have a very hard time using a high stem pre to get me those extra reps because usually it requires a lot more utilization of muscles.
Totally.
But for me, there is a fine line of what I call when you get that perfect performance support and not perfect, but an ideal nootropic side. Yep. I get this feel of what I call like a mental drive, like a drive that makes you want to like controllably get extra reps.
It's always been a mind over matter. The body will only go where the mind tells it to go. And so we're going to arm you with something that allows your mind to tell your body to go a little further. And so when Tom Platz is telling you, get 5 more reps, well, this is going to help you.
Is this going to be is this at the Arnold? Is this going to be there or is this?
Yeah, we'll have it at the booth. So people who attend the Arnold can be first opportunity in.
Ian's been holding out on me. He didn't tell me shit about this.
No, I did not.
Damn.
I still love you though. Don't worry.
Damn, he just interested. Okay,
we've been sitting on this one for a while. We've actually been working on this. I think for nearly
it's gotta be 6 months, right?
About a year almost by the time it comes out.
Because I know that the exclusivity on that thing ended. Was it around mid last year?
Yeah. I don't know the exact dates, but
you needed the time anyway. I think you needed to plan ahead, so it worked out for you.
We are not the quickest, and it's not because we're slow. It's just we're very cautious in what we do. Again, with all the GMP stuff and everything, like, yeah, we're our own manufacturer, and yeah, if we really wanted to, we could crank something out in weeks, but that's just not the right way to do things when you're doing all the extra testing.
No. It's not the Mutant way.
It's not the GMP way. There's a lot of there's a lot of audits going on in the industry, and rightfully so. And I think there's going to be more. There's going to be more brands get caught that aren't on the up and up. That's just going to happen.
Well, I look forward to seeing everything that you bring to the Arnold. Of course, as I said, I will be there firsthand. In fact, I'll be there before anybody else gets there, seeing this thing get set up. And so you bet your ass that even though I have a few other things to attend to, I'll make sure that I'm walking by that, because you were right by the bodybuilding stage, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not close to it.
Yeah, we are right there, and we got more new things to show. Like, there's going to be some teasers in our booth. There'll be some teasers in our I believe we have a PVL booth somewhere, don't we, Shane? Maybe you've heard.
Yeah, there's a PVL booth somewhere. I think somewhere. It's like back of the hall or something.
Yeah, but you're also going to see some Mutant product and maybe some PVL product in a third booth that is not ours.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
I don't think you do.
I thought I did. No.
If you play back the tape, you'll catch something I said about 45 minutes ago. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. I know I played dirty. I'm sorry, everybody.
I know of 3 places you'll be potentially, if based on that statement.
Okay.
I would think that one of them's correct, but hey, I've just been working with the Arnold. I don't know shit anyway. So
isn't working with the Arnold a little fun?
It's like it's a disconnect, really. It's great. It's very intense.
Yeah.
And the team is ridiculously on point with absolutely everything and coordinating everything. But it obviously never actually knowing anything about an event and then coming in and working with it. It's like
we knew nothing about it 4 years ago. When another brand famously pulled out, and then we got an emergency phone call, and here was a bodybuilding event. That's what it is to me. It's a bodybuilding event, and it's a chance to have the camaraderie of the gym. And I go, are you kidding me? Why wouldn't we want to be at the Arnold or the Olympia? And so we've been steadily there the whole time. But it was only by fluke that this all happened 4 years ago, being the title sponsor. And this past year, we were like, screw it, let's just keep doing it. Like, we weren't ready to go do it 3 years ago and 2 years ago now. I'm like, no, let's go do it. Let's actually do this and have a blast with it. And so the people at the Arnolds have been very gracious with us, very tolerant as well. And they understand what we're trying to do. When you see what we've done, and it's in alignment with the Arnold Classic, so we're just not there as a normal brand would be. We're there, I believe, at a heightened level, because we have that mutual respect.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing it. I'm sure we'll be in touch many more times since in that time, and I am visiting Vancouver right after, so I'll be seeing a lot of you come March.
Well, that'll be fun. We're going to have a blast when you come up here. You get to see the facility, get the camera ready, take you to the lab, the manufacturing. Try not to let you fall in the blenders. So don't worry, you won't fall in the blenders. They're that big, But
yeah,
I think we have a few lockdown procedures. You'll be fine.
Oh, good. No, well, yeah. Thank you for coming on, and as always, look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, thank you.